So that certain nameless person got shot down once again. They must hate the word denied by now, especially in Virginia, after they sought sanctions against JD and his team. In my opinion, the reason they're doing stuff like this is not just because they're desperate. They hope that they can find a smoking gun. They hope that they can counter all of the things that have been coming out about them lately. You and I, we're going to talk about this move and what got shot down. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing fabulously. And if you would, before we get started, share this video far and wide. Everyone deserves to see it, and you can make that possible. Also, feed that pesky algorithm. It loves likes, it loves comments, and it loves you. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you have subscribed, and if you hadn't, well, shiny buttons, you know you want to push them. Now, as far as this subject goes, it's not just the decision or the denial that I find hilarious, although that is pretty funny. No, the filing that came before it, that thing's a real laugher. Why? Because it tries to preach about discovery. See, the filing and the subsequent decision, you know, the denial, as it were, and we'll look at that in just a moment, but that involves the deposition of one Tracy Jacobs. Never heard of that name? That's A-OK. This is JD's former agent, and this person, they were deposed in another trial. Not this trial, but another trial. JD's team had access to that, and the nameless persons, people, they said, yeah, you know what? We didn't have access to that. It wasn't turned over in a timely fashion. And JD's team countered by saying, we turned it over as soon as we thought that this was relevant. Now, the reason that I say that filing is so very entertaining is because it uses the idea of discovery as a soapbox. What I mean by that is this. You basically have that nameless person and her team standing up and saying, discovery, this is paramount in a case like that. Basically, they're looking down their nose and they're saying, you have to turn over things, while at the same time not turning over anything. Their strategy has been delay. You know that organization that they work with? They're in New York Supreme Court right now doing the same thing. But you know, discovery, it's important. This is how the document starts out too, with quotes about discovery. Listen to these. Quote, discovery is not a game. It is integral to the quest for truth and the fair adjudication of the issues. In this case, violations of discovery rules thus cannot go uncorrected or undetoured without undermining the truth-seeking process. So that's the first quote. They have three of them here. Here's the second one. The primary purpose of discovery rules is to prevent the use of surprise, trickery, bluff, or legal gymnastics. And here's the third one. The remedial relief to be granted by the trial court following a discovery violation or upon the late disclosure of evidence is within the trial court's discretion. Now, the thing that fascinates me about this filing is it is yet another desperation attempt, really a Hail Mary ploy to blame someone else for the loss of Pirates of the Caribbean 6. You know who they're trying to blame? Oh, it's JD, of course. They can prove it because in another court case, a 30-year agent of JD, well, he said the following. So let's look at this. This is basically just a summary of what's said, by the way. We're not going over all the pages. Quote, this motion is brought because JD has engaged in precisely these abhorrent tactics. That's the thing that is talked about in the quotes, by the way, significantly prejudicing that nameless person in discovering prior deposition testimony, texts, and emails from JD's 30-year agent in a case where JD is claiming $50 million in damages for losing the role of Pirates of the Caribbean 6 solely because that nameless person stated in an op-ed, and you know exactly what she had claimed. The withheld documents are plainly relevant. They reflect JD's history of extensive and worsening, we're just going to call all of that substance abuse, leading to, we have increased anger, hostility, and well, I cracked out a word there. You can guess what's there. Inability to remember his lines, tardiness or absence for filming. They reflect Disney, that would be the pirate studio, executives express concern over JD's behavior, including his actions toward that nameless person, and Miss Jacobs' belief that in light of JD's behavior in 2015 to 2016 timeframe, JD was quite capable of, I'm just going to say volatility, that's going to be used twice here, and it even displayed an increasing volatility toward Miss Jacobs. So again, the whole idea of what they're trying to say here here is they withheld that deposition. That deposition, it proves that I'm not to blame, even though, like I said, you can line up the timeline. You can tell what happened with lining up media articles. Yeah, it doesn't seem to fly very well, does it? Now, the thing the judge got to decide on was this little dilly that I like to call, give me that money. Why? Because I got bills to pay. You know, because the nameless person, they went out, they had their counsel put this together. They want money because of it, because of course that costs quite a bit. And you know what? Denied. So further, because of the conduct exhibited, that nameless person seeks sanctions in the form of attorney's fees and costs for bringing this motion. JD's counsel's conduct is particularly appalling because his counsel falsely represented in pleadings that these were wholly unrelated, stating on the record the depositions that he had provided the depositions and the documents in advance of the deposition, and later falsely claimed that he had just become aware of the documents when he had actually taken those very depositions in May 2018, May 2019. JD's counsel further represented to this court that he was present for all the depositions and none had any relationship to this. Now, as far as reporting on this subject is concerned, this stuff, it's actually quite hilarious. Why? Because when you read courthousenews.com's article, it's very biased, by the way, just warning you if you look at it, but you have some funny stuff in it like this. JD's lawyers sent the record of Tracy Jacobs' previous deposition via email, just as that nameless person's attorney was deposing Tracy Jacobs. That meant that nameless person's attorney was not aware of the testimony when grilling the agent. I'm not in my email at all during a deposition. That's what they had to say during the hearing. I focus. Now, what's funny there is basically they're trying to pass the blame. But JD's team, they're saying, nope, you're not going to pass that on us at all. We didn't conceal anything. We didn't hide the ball. Now, as far as the judge is concerned, the judge said there's no need to compel anything, as those documents, they've already been produced. So that motion there, you can't go through with that part of it. And as far as sanctions are concerned, those sanctions, they were declined, meaning no money for that motion. You're not going to get to sanction JD. You're not going to get to sanction his lawyers. That's not going to tie it off. Now, personally, I don't really think this is about deposition. What I think it's about is diverting blame. You've seen all of those times that nameless person and their counsel has been making the judge mad. Well, this was a time trying to say they're not playing by the rules. They're the bad guys. And yeah, it didn't seem to work at all. But anyway, you'd let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff possible, so thank you. Want to help out the channel? There are links in the description. You can check all of those out. But you being here, that matters. So thank you. I do appreciate you, and we will see you soon.